So Lauren, tell us how you and Edward met and where you met.
Sure. It was really a very cliche story of the director running away with the talent on a documentary I was making around global surgery back in from 2014 to 2016. And we met at the beginning of it at one of a famous American surgeon, Atul Gawande. He hosted an event and had a party back at his house, actually, so in his kitchen. And that's where we first got to talking. Our lives went different ways for quite some time, obviously being on opposite sides of the ocean. And then in 2016, we reconnected at an event for a charity that we both worked on that project for called Lifebox. They work to make surgery safer around the world. And then he asked me out on my first date, and we figured a way to do a transatlantic relationship for quite a few months. And then I moved over to the UK.
So you had a wedding planned. Was it in the UK?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tell us about what your plans were.
The original plan was to have a ceremony in London in Marylebone Hall at the end of March this year, with just his parents there and one close friend and our dog, and then have two parties, one in London and one in New York. And we already had the party planned in New York for August. And then Ed had been working here on a contract with the hospital and Ministry of Health since January. I came out in the middle of March for a long weekend that became a much longer weekend because it was the day after the WHO declared the pandemic. And things started changing quite quickly, as we could tell, and we were just trying to keep up with what the possibilities were.
So tell us how it went about. How did May 30th, take shape with your guests and the whole process that you went through?
Realizing that this pandemic was probably going to continue for an unknowable amount of time and that big parties weren't going to be an option, we wanted to then celebrate with everyone on the day in any way that we could. So literally 2 weeks out after the registry took my full payment for us to have the 30th and everything was locked in, we created a wedding website and just decided to make the whole thing virtual. And we had our two witnesses here, our photographer Melanie Fiander and her husband, and we just invited everyone to join in different ways throughout the day with whatever their schedule was, whatever time zone they were in. We had people join in from Australia, Bangladesh, Lebanon, Switzerland, Spain, both the US and the UK, and it was awesome. So we started with a wedding website to kind of give people direction as to how the day was going to happen, how they could participate in this way. We weren't just going to have Zoom on all day for people to kind of watch. We adhered to Ed's request of having a private ceremony. That part was not live. We did record it, but it was nice because we had no idea what was going to happen, up until including the point where you had to kiss the bride, and we were both wearing masks, and so we had no idea how that was going to happen. And Ed just helped me pull my mask down and gave me a kiss. And he was like, "It's just like taking a veil off."
Are you gonna have a honeymoon?
In Ed's words, when everyone asked him that, he said, "Call me Flash, but I think Bermuda's a really good place for a honeymoon." We opted not to have a real registry or any gifts, and we chose to ask for donations to Lifebox, the charity that we met through, and the reason that we became together. And I'm really proud to say that our guests ended up donating enough to create 6 pulse oximeters to donate to low-income countries.